Yo, I have been waiting for this for a long time. Before we get into the whole shenanigans, y'all know what we gotta do. We gotta do audio checks. We gotta check the audio to make sure everything is going good. Let me put this on loop. Can y'all hear me first off? I know you can't see me yet. Hold on, I'm gonna have to close this out here. Hold on here. In fact, hold on, we're gonna do something a little bit different. And your boy is sweating. Daggone, it's actually 78 degrees. Okay, I'm gonna do something a little bit different here. We hear you, unfortunately. Rude. Okay, no. Okay, we're gonna do something a little bit different here. All right, hold on, Joe. If you can hear me in chat, bro, I'm about to pull you over right now because we're about to slay like multiple birds with one stone. And once I get you in here, I'm gonna explain what I mean. First off, I was deafened as all get out, so I mean, I'm glad you had the stream open. All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is what we do here. Okay. All right. Turn on your camera. We're gonna get this sorted out here right now.
Bet.
Because there we go. That's the homie right there. All right, hold on.
Hell yeah.
Let me switch scenes here real quick. Okay, ain't no way. Okay, hold on. We're gonna pretend like that didn't even happen. I have my camera on the wrong side. I don't know why OBS over here trolling. Like, I would love to have my camera on in Discord with you, but I have to overlay my camera over the section of my camera.
I was like, I don't see it on. I'm like hella delayed. I just realized. I was like, oh, hold on. Let me refresh.
No, look, bro. That's. I guess that's on me. I don't know if the delays. I've been streaming for 6 years. I still can't fix nothing, right, bro?
It's usually me for some reason. Yeah. Every time I'm like, why am I always like 30 seconds late to the joke? I'm like,
all right. Oh, hold on. I am. Oh, okay, good. Oh my goodness. Woo! I thought I was doubly trolling because I'm over here multi-streaming on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, I actually didn't put a scene up for that, but I guess it's working. But if it don't work, I'll just upload the VOD directly.
Be live.
All right, so y'all can hear Joe, y'all can see Joe. Let me know, chat. Sometimes chat be trolling. I had a whole sequence where it was like muted, bro, and everyone was like, "We thought you was locked in." I'm like, "No,
bro, no." That's the classic. It's like it's always every once in a blue moon. You got to be like,
I know.
You know what? Rookie move there. My bad, y'all. My bad.
And my number one boss fight is forever sound. It is forever audio.
That's the real final boss out there.
Yeah, that's the real soul fight. All right. So, first, welcome in, everyone. Thank you, B, for collecting first. Mimi for collecting second. Joe for collecting third. Also, B, I'm technically still late because I meant to actually go live earlier before Joe so I can get into a yap sesh and then drag Joe in, but I stayed on brand unintentionally.
Listen, it's every streamer's. We're all fashionably late. Everyone's always early, you know. That's all it is.
Yeah, for real. But hold on, let me do the spill real quick. Yo, welcome to DLC for the Culture Podcast. See the moves? Hold on, we're doing the fusion. I don't know what's
up. Oh, I did the L backwards, but that's fine.
But yo, today, as you see, we have this awesome specimen of a guy who I literally ask, how do you look different every time? He shaved, look young. Hair slicked back, look different. Swole with shirt. Right now, he looks swole. What, like?
It's the hoodie. The hoodie's doing the work. It's actually AI right now. This is all AI filters.
But yo, so this has been something that's in the works for a while since freaking Requiem was coming out. as
Oh, I thought you were going back to last year. I was like, you asked me a minute ago.
No, okay. So the whole story is that I did ask Joe a minute ago, but of course I am also the master of bad timing on top of being late. So of course I asked Joe in the height of him being busy doing his thing.
That's the thing. We're all always busy. I just gotta like hunker down and be good about scheduling certain things. I'm like, no. I gotta say yes to this thing because like, nah, I keep saying no and I don't want to say no, but like I got 4 other things that I'm doing right now. Like, no, we're doing this. We're making time for this, damn it.
No, I completely understand. I haven't got to like your level of busy where I'm like traveling and whatnot because I ain't got the money for it yet. And I haven't reached out for like sponsors yet, but no, I completely understand. So, you know, even though I was like hassling Joe and Chad was like, Joe, check those DMs. He was like, I know, Neon, I'm gonna check those DMs.
No promise.
1 week later, yo, Joe, so about them DMs, I was like, bro, my bad.
Oh man. I'm so bad.
But
hey, I got here. You got me to be on time for someone else's stream. I'm never on time for my own stream, so thank you.
No, same.
I'm like, all right, look, I'm punctual. I'm like, if it's for somebody else, I make sure I don't mess up their own joint.
No, look, I was trying to make sure that I got on early because he was like, I got this much time to spare, and I know on your streams, like, you're a little bit late, but I don't know what all you doing today, and I didn't want to be like 20 minutes in with tech difficulties and whatnot, and be like, okay, so Joe, what do you think about Requiem? It's okay, we gotta move on to the next subject. Like, oh, okay.
Oh,
but
man.
also, I know if we got the yapping and whatnot, and you don't have like anything to do, we mess around and be like 15 hours. Okay, it's not gonna be a 15-hour stream, y'all, but
no, but sometimes it's like that. You lose track of time, and it's just like, oh shoot, what time? Oh crap, hold up, I gotta go.
Yeah, right. No, for real. But yeah, this specific podcast has been like months in the making. As y'all already know, we did the road to Requiem, played Resident Evil all the way up to the debut of Requiem. I hit up Joe. I was like, bro, I got this podcast idea. I want to bring you on. He was like, I bet. Let's play the games and then come together and yap. Joe how many times you beat the game so far?
You know what's crazy? Technically, I've still only beaten it once, but I have played through a huge chunk of that game like 4 different times now.
Yo, welcome in, Jen.
I'm even playing it in Spanish, man. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to learn this damn language. Here we go. Let's start with this. I'm like, I'm taking in. I'm like, okay, well, because it's like, it's not like I don't know Spanish, but I definitely do not know Spanish. Like, I can't speak the language to save my life, but I understand phrases and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. Yeah, but it is great played. Like, I recommend, even if you don't know, it's like watching a telenovela. Like, Victor Gideon in Spanish might be my favorite voice acting like villain of all time, because he is definitely like telenovela like villain. He's like, Victor Gideon, and I'm like, oh, they gave him the deep voice. Like, that man's either about to make love or be real dastardly on me. Like,
you're like, I don't know which one.
Oh man.
But yeah, so Joe has played it many a times, running through it right now in Spanish. I've beaten the game 4 times, beat Insanity mode with Infinite Rocket Launcher Infinite Ammo, because I needed that. I needed that for me.
Insanity is nuts. I started that one like immediately after I beat the game. Yeah. And I was trying to do it without like the new game plus stuff. I'm like, yo, I'm fighting for my life. I'm over here like getting scuba diving, Scuba Steve freaking with the chainsaw sliding through the hospital. I'm like, this is necessary? Like, I have not seen that so many the different death animations. I was like, what is going on here? Bro, fighting for my life.
Bro, this was this on Insanity mode? I forgot what mode it was on, but Jin, who unfortunately couldn't make it today because I dropped the ball. After I confirmed the time with Joe, I forgot to tell Jin. I told Jin mentally, but not actually, because we ain't psychic.
No, so, I do not love
but I was the scene where you and Victor is like motorcycle playing chicken, right?
Yeah.
I'm off to the side like, oh, let me marker this clip thing because it's gonna be like a funny clip. And I wasn't paying attention, drove past and actually died in that scene. Jen was surprised. I was surprised. I know. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing.
I haven't seen that death animation yet. That's gotta be crazy.
Oh yeah, bro. When you get to that part, just put the controller down and sit back and just watch. It's actually hilarious.
The craziest one to me, I think, still is like just like the standard raw one. Like I think it's maybe the blind guy. He's got the head wrap and the blood bag. He like drops down on you and just starts like forearm smashing your head into. I was like, I think that's the standard zombie game over one, but like, bro, it's so brutal. Like, wow, they really went out their way to make sure you're getting like clapped. Like,
no, for real.
Like when you die, you die. You don't just die.
Yeah. And when I was going through insanity mode, and I actually jumped the gun here because, hold on, we're going to circle back real quick. But no, when I went through insanity mode, I was so happy that I had the infinite rocket launcher because I found a place. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say where. There's actually 2 moments. One part in insanity mode was going to be a struggle, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Second part, also going to be a struggle. If I hadn't had the rocket launcher, I would have been like, man, so I got to do this one fight over again. All right, bet. Didn't know they had enemies there.
Oh.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's the other thing too. It's like everyone's a blister head right off rip. Like that. I said, excuse me? Did you just? It feels like that's like the intended like thing that they wanted to do outside of like normal. But like you can't do that because like you gotta like build up the suspense and surprise and stuff like that. But like, yo, they do a lot of things that make it so out of pocket on insanity mode that I'm just like, oh, this is a completely different game. Like,
not for real.
You're playing a brand new game. You're not playing the same one that you just finished, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, for real. But to roll it back, because I did this out of order, introduce yourself, bro. Who are you? Where did you come from? No.
Hi, I'm Joe. I came from my mom. No, I'm Joe, aka Joe After Work. I play a variety of games. I'm a retro streamer. I play survival horror, Nintendo JRPGs as well. I am a big Resident Evil head. It's the one that got me into survival horror. I also cosplay as well, and I used to post a lot more fitness stuff on the side, but now lately it's just more like, oh, hey, here's what I did. So like that's pretty much the majority of like fitness stuff, but we still yap about it on stream every now and again. So if you have any questions, I'm around.
Yeah, Joe has given me some advice on fitness because I asked him, I was like, bro, I need to get on your level. He's like, did I do these things? Yo, Indy, how you doing? Welcome in. Also, hello everyone. Indy, Jen, Lee, B. I keep calling by your first government name. B. Taryn, welcome into the stream. So, Resident Evil Requiem came in like a wrecking ball, and I've been waiting to yap with everyone about it, and I have been yapping with everyone about it. So we're gonna hop into this here. Let's see. I got some notes here, and I'm about to expose the business. Okay, what that type here? How the Resident Evil series? Okay, yeah.
He's breaking kayfabe, y'all.
I'm breaking kayfabe. Okay. First things first. Your thoughts on Resident Evil Requiem as a whole, like the entire thoughts on the Requiem.
As a whole, it still remains, and like this is now what, a month and a half out from the game. It still remains in my top 5. Like I've sat down really hard. I've thought about this. I still think about the game now, and like usually by around this point, I've like kind of like faded away, and like I'm like, okay, maybe it was the hype that I was like, I got like there's the hype score, and then there's like the after you're like kind of like completely separated from a game score in my head. And not that I score games, but like it's like okay, is this really like top 5, or is this the hype speaking right now? Because like I thought like X, Y, and Z about all these things, and like it's like the Undertale thing for me, where I keep thinking about the game and I'm like, I want to go back in, I want to see what else I missed or what anybody else may have missed that we haven't found yet. And like, or like just small little details in the storytelling, because for me that game does not happen the way it does without literally everything before it. Which is crazy to say, because they wove literally every single game's plot point into that game, made a new character, made her matter, implemented Leon into it, and it made sense for him. Like if you were gonna choose out of like all the original mainstays, like I get it, like you've had Chris twice now, all right, Leon is like technically the second, and probably at this point the most, like when he came out back in the day, everybody was heart-throbbing about Leon. I was all about Claire, but like everyone was still about Leon back in the day on going back to RE2. And so RE4 comes out, he blows up even more, and like it's got I think at this point, like as much as I was like, damn, I really wish it was like an Outbreak character that was like on the other side or whatever, it makes so much sense to have Leon there and like carry the 30 years for this particular story, especially with like the whole Return to Raccoon City stuff, if they're gonna try to go from that angle. I'm curious to see what they do with the DLC, but it's definitely in my top 5 with no like particular order as far as like Resident Evil games go. 2 classic will always have my heart. That is like that will always be the number 1 spot for me. It doesn't matter how old, how jank, how goofy that game is. that has a bar that will not be touched. But Requiem is absolutely in that space, hands down. They did like the game is attention to detail at the very core with so many things, and like they really tugged at heartstrings with certain things.
Oh, bro, they really did. I immediately, and I don't, no, this wasn't it. Immediately, like I was stoked going up to the game, but drop down Chicago right out the gate graphics. I'm like, game of the year. I didn't even see no mechanics. I just saw the beauty of it. Game of the year.
RE Engine does not play, man. It's like, dude,
for real.
That engine is wild.
yes, and this was after I played RE4 Remake. I just finished Leon's side on RE2 Remake, but yeah, I played that. Out the gate, it was like game of the year, and the deeper I got into the game, like you were saying, they made Grace matter, freaking how they worked in Grace, and Indy do have a point. Rebecca is overlooked. We hopefully in Resident Evil 10 they bring back Rebecca. It would be nice to see her in there. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice to see her in a game. Like, I'll take more time in like Remake 1, and however they want to decide to implement 0. Like, give me like a proper continuity of her at least, because her from even 0 to 1 don't make no sense still. They should do a remake. 2 different people.
They should do a remake of 1 and combine the 2 together, because they could straight up do that.
They could.
Yeah. She's a scientist. Yeah, she's a scientist. Like having her on the squad. You can play her section.
Like the support, you know?
Yeah. And since they in Resident Evil 9, since it also a fair warning to anyone who watched this on the VOD later and on YouTube later, there may be some spoilers, so watch at your own discretion. But I like how they seamlessly put both Leon and Grace together. I was wondering, like, how is it going to be? Is it going to be we play through Grace side first, and then we have like a B side with Leon? But what they did was really cool. How you play Grace's sections, and then it's like this was Leon was doing, and it all came together and it made sense. So they could do something like that for a remake of 1, and have it where like this is what Rebecca was doing, this is what Chris was doing, this is what Jill was doing, you know, or have like Jill, have like maybe like Chris as like B-side or something, like in Resident Evil 2 callback, you know. They could really do that.
It's funny you mentioned that, because like I was thinking a similar thing recently about how you can take what you've learned from like 7, 8, 9 and then the remakes. It's like every time they've done something with either the remakes or like this portion of trilogy, I guess, to phrase it that way, 7, 8, 9, and then the remakes for 2, 3, 4, they've like implemented things and like took what they learned prior, brought it together, and like 9 is definitely the culmination of like those 5 games and everything that they learned between that. And like it's funny because like some people say it's like an apology letter for 6. I was like, bro, 6 was how many years ago now? But I mean, you're not wrong, but like, damn, let it.
Yeah, let's.
I don't know. Maybe I have a soft spot for 6 nowadays, but like, damn.
Well, here's the thing: 6 wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't, but it also just wasn't like. Because I recently replayed it and I'm just like, okay, I took some good out of it, but yeah, it's not what Resident Evil was. And it's like there's good in there, but like it feels like a shell of what it used to be, and it was trying to do something really cool with bringing all these characters together at that point, because it was something that like a lot of fans were like, hey, when are these characters are gonna like actually properly meet together? And like we had some of those leading into some of the movies here and there, but like, and I don't think Vendetta came out at that point either, so I don't even think Leon and Chris had like been in the same room for us to watch at that point, sort of thing. But yeah, it's got good. It's got a lot more bad than good. But like I've come to like the bad in that one. But anyway, just to like go back, sorry, because you were talking about like how the story, like you can do RE1 in a similar fashion as 9, and I completely agree, because I think you can split that mansion and really do like a Chris Rebecca route in there. And a Jill Barry route on the other side. And you can have those characters meet up, or somehow one of them ends up in like the spoilers, or you know, one of the characters, depending on the route that you take in the first game, will always end up being in a jail cell, and like you can opt to get them out if you want a better ending. But like you can like play all into that and make that like a one true ending of like how all these characters escape the mansion at some point. And then to your point, if they don't do a 0, do like a 0 DLC for Rebecca, or just make it a completely separate game and do what I feel like they were trying to do, and like maybe just didn't have enough time or budget, because that game was originally an N64 game and then became a GameCube game. But I feel like the Bravo team was supposed to play a bigger presence, and like most of them are yacked up. Richard's nowhere to be seen. Enrico's just via yak back, and I'm like, where is everybody? And like Rebecca is completely different by the time you get to the mansion than she is in that game, and acts like none of that happened. Like, did she hit her head and have amnesia? Like, what happened? Sorry, I forgot the events from like the day before.
No, she pulled a me because Alex, my mod, told me to play Resident Evil 3 first. So when I remake first, so when I play Resident Evil 2 remake, you know, I can see how everything like came together. And me and Jen, Alex, everyone, we all going through there, and I was like, yeah, you see this part right here? Remember this part? I was like, no, but I think I do. It's like, bro, I'm pulling a Rebecca over here. I'm like, I know we passed it because we played the whole game. But
oh man, because like that is the cool thing of like the tie-ins between like those two games and like the Outbreak series of games, and like how they interweave, and like how like Outbreak is like before even 2 and 3, and then they eventually leads out of it. But 3 being the whole like before, during, and after 2 is really cool.
Yeah, I like how they wove that in together. Also, fun fact, I didn't know until I watched my friend Vaughn play Resident Evil 1 remake. In my playthrough, Chris is dead. Because I didn't know I had to say I saw you lean forward.
But you really said
no, mama.
Yeah, I mentally played your soundboard like yeah. Because I didn't know that Chris was even in a jail cell. Like, did I miss something, or does the game not just tell you, or something like?
No, the game doesn't tell you at all. It is completely hey, if you found these ammo discs throughout your journey, one of which is in the mansion, and then the other 2 are at the end of the game, and then you got to figure out where those discs go. Yeah, it's a whole it's a whole sequence that like you can completely miss.
So according to my timeline, Resident Evil 5 does not take place. Because Chris is dead. Freaking.
Oh no. Is this the neonverse?
This is the neon. This is
the evil timeline.
Yeah, this is the neonverse Resident Evil timeline, because was Chris locked up in the mansion?
Chris was locked up in the mansion. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How he got in there, I have no clue, but yeah.
Yeah, that whole John got blowed up at the end of Resident Evil 1. So yeah, he died.
Did you bring Barry with you?
Barry survived.
Okay, Barry survived. Okay.
So right. In my timeline, Claire, I don't know how she gets off of Code Veronica Island. I don't remember much of the story and what part Chris played, but yeah, Chris don't play that part in at all.
The whole second half of that game, gone.
Yeah, gone. Resident Evil 5 doesn't take place unless, I guess, Barry takes Chris's spot. I don't know what Barry's doing in that time. Jill is still working with Wesker. Wesker probably just took over the world, so Resident Evil 9 don't even take place now.
That's it. It's over. Uroboros.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
That's
done.
A stopping point.
It is done. Leon, if Resident Evil 9 is out, Leon is fighting against Wesker. 7 minutes, Leon. Yeah.
7 minutes, Leon.
7 minutes is all I have to spend. Yeah. But jumping back to Requiem, I love how, because I was thinking about this for a while, there's such a nuance of how they make, I'm gonna say Emily, Grace feel helpless and Leon feel powerful, still surviving for his life. So like with Grace's side, she's already designed to be where she already had trauma, from her past. Freaking, she has to revisit that trauma, and then she's thrown into the deep end of the pool because she has not witnessed any of these, any like zombies or anything like that.
Got a bone to pick with that guy, Dempsey.
Yeah.
Not one point in that night, just he's in bed sleeping. That guy's the final boss.
No, yeah.
I'm on to him. All right, I'm on to. That's the worst boss on the planet. But I have thoughts. I'll save them.
Hold on, I need to hear these thoughts. No, but to be fair, he was like, "Yo, Grace, you don't have to take this mission, okay?" But
that's the gaslighting.
Yeah. So she's like thrown in deep in the pool. She got limited weapons, and her inventory space is even like similar to Resident Evil 2 remake. Now that I played it, I got the comparison to it. And then Leon over here has the whole Resident Evil 4 case. Still have limited ammo, so you have to be careful. But he's all the experience of the previous games, his previous life. And I'm happy that they didn't make it. This is something that me and Jen was talking about in the YouTube video in our top 10 countdown of what we want to see in Resident Evil 9. I'm happy they didn't make him moody where he was just like, you know what? I'm tired of zombies. I'm tired of all this killing. Like, that would have been so bad. Like,
nah, they did that with Chris too many times.
Yeah. Chris over here being moody and whatnot. But Leon, all the way to the end, like, man's about to kick the bucket, and he was like, oh, I'm 100%. I can't feel my left side, but I'm good.
That man fought through and through. I was very shocked because they had me actually believing for a moment that was going to be it for him, and I was like, oh, are they gonna do this?
Yeah, I thought so too, bro. But hold on, I gotta ask the ultimate question. Then we gotta circle back because I want to hear your thoughts on Dempsey. What ending did you pick the first time through? I don't remember if you told me.
First time through, I did pick Hope. The Elpis. What's the password? Hope or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
The canon ending. Yeah.
I didn't trust Spencer.
I mean, that's like my one crazy gripe that I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that one, or if they're really just gonna leave it like this and let him have his quote unquote redemption arc, because everyone has every right to not trust Spencer.
Yeah.
This man was a maniac.
Yeah.
One life. That's how we're gonna rectify this character who like murdered his own architect and his family, experimented with them, left one of them roaming in a mansion to explode, created or worked with like Wesker and Birkin to betray one of the co-founders to earn their trust so he could take over that side of the experimentation of the T-Vibes. Like, what? Like, yeah, no. That's the one. I was just like, so like when people went against Spencer, I get it. Like, yeah, you're gonna want to destroy it after all of this stuff. But like when I heard the voices going on for when you get, because you can back out and choose the other one before you actually confirm it.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing the mom, Alyssa, you start hearing Spencer and all that stuff. Like, oh, okay. This is the good ending. This thing. And then that's when I figured out what Elpis was as like right before it happened. I'm like, oh, okay. It really is this whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
How's this gonna play out?
It's fun. It was a fun fact. I didn't notice, and Jen pointed this out, that I actually had called it before I got to that point. I was like, what if Elpis was the cure? And then proceeded to be like, destroy Elpis. Bro, it's the self-out, man. It's the second questioning. It's like, okay, I've learned all this time to destroy this shit. Like, oh, excuse my language. No. Destroy this crap. Bro, when I destroyed that and I saw that last part, like, man,
that was a crazy ending. I mean, going back to Leon dying. There you go, right there.
Look, we already said spoiler warning beforehand, you know.
What would have been cool though is if they made a separate boss battle for that. Even if it was just watching Leon die in the end, you kind of like trying to shoot at
Zeno.
Zeno.
Timo Wesku, Wesku. Timu Wesker.
Timu Wesku. Wesku.
Yeah.
Jesus. Timu and Wesku.
10 minutes is all I have to spare.
That would have been cool. He just like keeps like dodging, zigzagging it, and just like yakking you, so that way it gives Grace enough time instead of that awkward stare. Because I feel like if he's powerful enough to do the Harlem Shake, at like my speed, I would imagine he'd be able to like make that vertical leap, like to just like yak her, but no.
He was just like, yeah, what you gonna do now? And I'm going down with the ship. You don't get they knew what they were doing. They knew that once we saw Leon, Yeon, hold on. The Kanye West Leon. No.
Yep.
They knew once we saw Leon get GG that we would want to spin the block, because that whole time I was sitting there, I wanted to swing, but I had no one to swing on. I felt hopeless. I felt chained, bro. If you had tuned in at that moment, I was sitting there literally like, So they purposely had dude go down with a ship out of spite, be like, you should have paid attention. This is you have to suffer now. You get no spin to block. Grace walks off. But they was kind enough to be like, you can play from that spot again and then do the right thing.
I was gonna ask you because that's what I heard, but I've never seen it like outside of like reloading my save and then doing that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't sure. Like they like actually like reboot you to that point so you can choose the other one.
Yeah. So what happens?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So after they gaslight you, make you feel like complete utter dog water for choosing the wrong choice. They go through the whole credits. The music, bro, is completely changed. Like we get the Bad to the Bone music.
What?
Yeah, bro, for real. You can do this offline if you want to, or do it on stream so everyone can see.
I think I skipped the whole thing. Like we watched it, I reloaded it, but then I like skipped the credits and all that. So I didn't even realize they had different music.
Yes, bro. They put their whole foot into this fake ending. You choose the wrong.
They really said nah.
Yeah, the music is sad and just makes you feel hollow because the music is like hollow. It's still good music, but it's hollow. You know, you sit there and watch the credits as you just depressed.
You live with your decision.
Yeah, they make yeah.
That's crazy.
And then once, you know, at the end where it's like, okay, these are the challenges they complete, it pops up on the screen as big as cuff, so you have chance to not mess up and accidentally hit the wrong thing. Like, do you want to start from the point of where Leon is like chilling on the side and Grace like, Leon, and comes help, and they yeah. And then you can choose yes, and then you can go from there and then choose the right thing. Yeah.
That's crazy because I think once you get that other ending, they don't do that, or at least I didn't notice it. Like maybe I said no or something, but yeah, we played it back. We did that whole sequence just to see it, and I said, I do not feel good about that.
Yeah,
and I just prompted skipping back to the main menu screen.
Yeah, no. If you pick the right ending, you don't have the option to go back.
Yeah.
You have to replay the game over again or watch it on YouTube and then see. Well, you have to replay I think you get a challenge for the bad ending. I want to say. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it, at least on PC.
Yeah. But, jumping back to the whole thing with Spencer. So, like, me and Jen was, like, talking about this back and forth. Jen believes that it could be a redemption, but we can't confirm until they remake Resident Evil 5 and see how that plays out with Spencer and Wesker. And I still high-key believe that Spencer, like, regardless of the flaws that Spencer had when he got caught up many different times and lost the whole thing, the man still was smart enough to be 10 steps ahead. I personally think that Spencer was like, you know what? I'm creating Elpis to be a cure, but I'm not going to tell anyone, just to say screw the people that screwed me over the Umbrella, screw everyone in the world, just screw everybody. If they figured it out, because of me talking to Alyssa Ashcroft, and because the way he says hope is like, it doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, I trust, you know, blind hope, as if he's like, yeah, hope, you know. And we did agree that it feels like maybe he was senile, so he did have a moment of probably regret of the things that he did, but then slip back into, if we go with the OG 5, slip back into his God complex with Wesker. So I'm just on the mindset until it's confirmed that he probably did feel bad, and his last act of just fixing everything was Elpis. But he was still petty to his core. So it was like, it's a danged if you figured it out, danged if you don't. I'm dead.
It's crazy, yeah, because it's like it goes back to one of those things where it's like it seems like the
Slur. What's up, B?
like in the document that you get at the end, like they kind of at least allude to the fact that like, okay, yes, he had this moment of redemption, but towards his later years before he passed away in his estate in Europe, he, you know, started being the crazy old man with dementia without saying it, basically. So it's like, you can look back at the scene in RE5, that DLC, or even the I think it's in main game too, where Wesker and Spencer's in like the wheelchair and all that stuff, and he's kind of like talking about being a god and all that stuff, and it's like that could be taken as like him being a crazy old person, because like, yeah, at that point, even in that cutscene today, he seems like a crazy old person that's lost his mind and like stuff, right? So like, I can get it from that. It's just the whole them as him being that character of just like trying to redeem himself and atone for his mistakes is like, okay, well then make him, you know, it would have made more sense if like he spearheaded or like at least made the baby steps to do the Blue Umbrella, because Blue Umbrella in 7 was like made up of, you know, some older Umbrella employees that were trying to atone for the, you know, the bad that they had done in the past and stuff like that. But it was mostly, you know, BSAA also crossing over with that Blue Umbrella, which that has to come back at some point now at this rate, with the way the corruption, the whole government corruption thing like continues, right? Because that's always been a thing in the series, but like they're really like cranking the dial to 11, and it being like they talk about the conspiracy theories and all that stuff, and like the news is like conspiracy theory, but on the background with the FBI report, it's like, oh, okay, who's going to start experimenting and who's collecting all this data because they want to make sure that they can cover up what they can cover up. And I think that's where Dempsey maybe comes into play, or maybe Dempsey's just the red herring for all of this. But I still feel like he has something to do with being a part of the bigger picture in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it could be. Is that so? What's your thoughts on Dempsey?
Yeah, I feel like either he's like, again, the red herring, and it's just like he's actually good and trying to like, you know, figure out what the heck is going on from like a government standpoint and like trying to shut this down, or he is working for somebody as a member of the connections in the government, because they have that affiliation of just like, all right, you've seen the Wesker try to like sell Tyrant under, you know, to the U.S. military. You've seen Birkin try to mess with G virus and like, you know, sell that to the U.S. government and all that stuff. So they got a lot to play with there as far as like what's next as far as the connections go, because we, you know, that's definitely the entity of the big baddie, but then you have like a lot of leftover things like Zeno and how like he was in and out for a cup of coffee, but like I think that's alluding to a bigger thing in the past as well, with like Project Wesker and like their and like cloning was like an underlying tone. There's a lot of like different threads that I feel like they're finally pulling that were like just little excerpts in like past titles of just like, oh, Wesker's a clone. Where the hell did this come from? Like 15 years later that we're finding this out, and like, do we see the original Dr. Wesker that spearheaded that program? Like, is he gonna show up and like he's the one creating all these Weskers? Even though it was like originally only supposed to be one, and then we ended up getting Alex Wesker, and now we're getting Zeno as like the imitation. Is like, there's too many different things that they can really mess with in the future. That's what I'm most excited about getting out of 9 and whatever this DLC ends up being.
Yeah, and the ending of 9 where the hunk units, I don't know their name, but the hunk units pick up something off the ground. Are they grabbing Elpis? Are they grabbing a part of Zeno? Because like maybe they know something about Elpis, because there's always a possibility they could easily like write in and be like, so we know that Elpis is something. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they hid it from Xeno or something like that. You know, like we know that Elpis is something. So Elpis, or it could be something along the lines of, so Elpis cured Xeno, who was a Wesker clone. Let's now take his DNA and see what we can make from it. Or did they grab something from Gideon? Because Gideon walked around, he had the G virus, but Mans looked like a something from Resident Evil 7 and 8. You know, like he was half mold, half G virus. You know, so what did they pick up? That's what we need to know. We need 10 now.
Yeah, and it could have been an Elpis because apparently, and I gotta run that back. That's like one area of the game that I haven't replayed multiple times is that lab section. But I think Victor grabbed a vial of Elpis because Xeno had one. He took it. Grace gave one to Leon. Did that. Leon grabs at least maybe 2 vials for Sherry. And
Emily,
I guess whatever for Emily, maybe 3 because I don't even know how many vials were in that little casing. Didn't seem like a lot, but like at least 1 to like replicate, I would imagine. Although at this point you can kind of make up how many was in that little tubing, and like they have enough to cure everybody that's been infected by the T virus from the past. The original T virus at least, right? But there's a lot of that, and like the connections they only knew that like Elpis was like the next thing they wanted to get Spencer's like final product, right? And they didn't know it was an antiviral, like so now that they do, at least if they end up grabbing that, they might be able to use it against anybody else on the black market, sort of thing, because like, that's the whole bigger picture of like the black market side of thing. Is now that this has been discovered, potentially replicated, people are definitely going to be running around trying to like, hey, we want to buy Elpis, we want to buy Elpis, we want to buy, and like all these different, like you've seen it with the movies where they have the war and just like everybody's using G virus, T virus, and like they're fighting against each other, and it's like, bro, what if they start fighting each other with Elpis, so that way it's like, oh, you got that. Bro,
you're normal now. Now we can throw hands.
Anarchy is like what Gideon was saying. It changes the game,
which leads back to I think that Spencer was up to no good. So maybe he wasn't trying to redeem nothing.
My man was a menace,
right? He was like, so you mean to tell me I worked all these years, and they think they're gonna take Umbrella from me? Nah, son. I'm gonna make it seem like it's hope, right? But it's actually anti-hope. Yeah, right. I was a run that ran this back with Miranda back in the day.
Oh my god. And that's the funny thing too, is like they had all that, and then Victor seemingly creating an enhanced T virus version. Notice how every like going back to the first scene where Lady turns and bites off dude's nose after kissing him.
Yeah.
He doesn't turn. He's just dead.
That's true.
So he created something that doesn't spread. He physically shot every single one of those people that turned with a needle on the way.
Yeah. That true.
I thought was the most interesting thing. So that city would have been fine. They would have just been dead.
Yeah.
As dark as that sounds.
No, yeah, because Gideon had that. They could have actually grabbed Gideon's research, because if we also go by with Emily, I thought Emily transformed nobody, but she just tucked up inside the husk of the transformation.
Yeah.
So maybe Gideon the same way.
Similar to the mold thing where like Zoe was like crystallized inside thingy.
Yeah.
I always thought that was interesting. I was like, okay. So I wonder if like any of that research is like connected in some way.
It could be. We have an armor of transformation.
Bro, it's nuts. But that was cool. I don't know if did you shoot Emily while playing?
In
that battle?
I shot in Emily, and then one playthrough I shot Emily in the heart. Indy actually did not shoot Emily. You want to know what happens?
Oh no, I know. I was asking you because I wanted to say, I was like, yeah, because I shot once on like the side, and because I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I just let it rock, and I was like, I wonder what happens if we get a death sequence. And then like he just shoots her. And I was like, I didn't do that. That wasn't me. So like I thought that was cool. That like either way you go about it, like Leon still kind of blasts.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is a little kid. I can't do it.
And then also Leon's like, I didn't hit any vitals. Like, bro, how did you know? Would you have research? You know how that transformation worked? Like she was wearing the monster suit and wasn't the monster?
That attention to detail. That was that moment of like Leon knew what Grace was growing through, because like Leon was Grace at one point.
Oh yeah.
He couldn't save anybody in Raccoon City except for himself.
Yeah.
It just so happened that like he couldn't even save Ada. Ada saved her own self. Claire saved Sherry.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, Claire saved Sherry, but Leon did not save anybody in that. That has to continue to haunt him, and it's like you see it play out, and like there's that one crazy scene, and that's the thing that like the game was already made for me, but there was one moment in particular that like solidified, damn, they really just like paid attention to detail. And it was in Raccoon City where you're going into Kendo's shop and a playback sequence plays.
Yes.
And then you're walking through the door and he's remembering that moment, and that it still haunts him. And then as you're walking out of there, his head still turns looking at the skull on the floor of the little child.
Yeah.
And if you walk back, he like adjusts his head more, and then as he's walking out, he's still looking back until you walk out the door completely. And I said, that's a crazy moment. That's an attention to detail that like you can completely miss the first time if you're just like gunning through. I had to take like 5 minutes to explain that moment to everybody on stream, because I was like, this is why this moment is important, and this stuff like that makes this game so important to storytelling, and why people appreciate this game on a level that like you can forgive certain retcons if they really are retcons, depending on like how you view it. And like that game just that made it for me. That was like, yeah, no, this is class act like storytelling right there. But it also makes me wonder what happened to Kendo.
Did you play did you play 2 Remake?
Well, yes, but you only hear one shotgun go off.
You're right.
You only hear one shotgun off. There was no other body there. Everything was ash. That skull was kind of tiny. That had to have been the kid.
And you know what? I straight up, Matt, when I heard the shot, I straight up thought like, did he like stand like side by side and did like one of like a convoluted? Because I'm always overthinking stuff. Like, did he say like a convoluted like it's gonna be okay, and it's like the aim the blicky, and then like I don't know. I don't think it was that deep, but you got a point there. Hold on.
That's why I was like, wait, there's no other body here. I mean, he could have just got like evaporated by everything and like, accept the death as is. But like, I was like, that's not his. That's definitely the daughter. I was like, huh, interesting. Okay. what? But like, I feel like he would know by now if he's alive, unless like, again, like he just died somewhere else. I have no idea.
That's a very good question.
Poor guy. They said no, he blasted the daughter. I always thought he blasted himself, but I was just like, yeah, that scene is crazy.
It is. It really is crazy. But let's talk about, how the Resident Evil series changed, horror in gaming. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie, but the only thing I remember about horror and survival horror in gaming is like the Nintendo days when I played Friday the 13th and freaking Nightmare on Elm Street.
Say that, bro. Let me tell you. Okay, so I've mentioned this story a few times, but Friday the 13th and Gremlins were two games where the intros freaked me out so much and still freak me out to this day.
Ooh.
Jason's like knife with the mask dropping down.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Bro, that still sends chills. And then Gremlins just has like the creepiest tune for a menu screen that needs to happen, and then it's the spider gremlin dropping down on the main menu.
Yeah.
But then you start up the game and it's got the biggest banger of all time for the first stage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like just like get me into that first stage because I want to hear that. Like, dun, 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 dun. Bro, that's like the greatest right there.
Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to that because I missed. Did I know there was a Gremlins game? Maybe. I'm not sure, but
you might have seen it. Like, there's that, and I think there's a Game Boy version of the same game, just like shorter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first stage got that whole game has bangers.
Look,
they were in the studio. Rent was due.
Yeah, it was due. Like NES titles be having the best 8-bit music out there. Like I'm sorry. Like people today gotta step their game up.
Sleep on it. Don't sleep on it, man.
Nah,
they have 4 channels to work with.
Exactly. But with Jason, with Jason, for me, freaking, that is chilling for me. It didn't affect me as much as affect you. But what got me is every time I went in the house to try to fight off Jason, the jump scare.
Yeah. No.
Every time.
And it turns into Punch Out. I'm like,
yeah, right?
Boxing Jason?
Yeah, right.
Like, how cool am I? Oh, man.
I know.
Like, trying to run around that big old camp maze.
Yeah.
And then, like, you'll be on the corner of the map going into the woods, and, like, you'll hear the dun, dun, and it's, like, kids in the cabin by the water, so you gotta, like, make your way all the way to the boat to get there. By the time you get there, 3 of them are slaughtered. Like,
yeah,
bro, kill them. That's fine.
Yeah, no, for real. And I never beat Jason Friday the 13th because the woods. I got lost in the woods because it's not just like you going into the woods.
It's so convoluted, man.
I think it's like similar to Final Fantasy Maze when you get one of the Guardian Forces, where you go in.
The brothers.
Yeah. So like you go in and you turn, but it's not the conventional sense. It's like you're still in like first person perspective. So I had to actually draw out the map of the brothers, and then rotate the map like this is where I am. Okay, this is where I am. Because I kid you not, I straight up went in the first time I played the game.
Dude, all of us. That was so confusing.
I got lost. I went in like level 5, came out like level 8. Like I hyperbolic time chamber training.
Bro, that's how it is. It's that and finding the temple of the city of the ancients or whatever at the end of disc 1 in Final Fantasy 7. It's like, bro, where am I going? And you're going into like battle after battle. You're using the airship. Like, by the time you find it, it's like you're level 50. You've got like limit breaks on everybody, and it's like, bro, why was this city so hard to find? They said go south, and I'm like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
Where am I looking?
At one point in time, bro, I yelled at the TV like, "I'm south. I can't get more south than I am south right now. I'm about to be north with how south I am." Like that's how our globe works.
I'm going so down. I went back up around. Like, where am I looking? Like, what's happening?
For real. But how do you think Resident Evil changed the way we look at survival horror?
Sorry, I ended up getting a work text message. What was that question?
Oh no! Do you have to go?
I was like, no, it's fine.
Okay,
that's something stupid.
Okay, wait, hold on one second. I gotta open up the back door for my mom now. We both get text.
I was like,
You gotta stand at the back door. I got a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right, I'm on my way now.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
I'm gonna throw up the BRB screen unless Joe just wants to entertain the stream. Because I gotta help my mom with some groceries.
I'll get a Coca-Cola then if that's the case. We can get a little water break.
Quick break. Everyone hydrate, stretch your legs. We'll be back in less than 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Okay, we are at who counting? Are we counting in chat?
Oh hell yeah! Oh,
I almost. My mom. I was helping make my mom something to eat real quick, and she was like, "Hurry up, get back!" And I almost walked away, left the door open. You about to see someone that don't even live here, probably walk in the house. Like, you don't even go here. Okay. I did.
Oh.
But so the question was, how do you think the Resident Evil series changed horror as a whole? Survival horror as a whole.
I mean, dude, you know, it's like, there's the whole, like, they were inspired by, you know, Alone in the Dark and stuff like that. And that game could have been very different if it wasn't for Alone in the Dark. So, like, I think you gotta always give credit to that game for it not going in first person first, because I think it would have been a completely different series. And I don't know if it would be the same experience that people got when that first game dropped. If they kept it as first person. It's interesting that they did eventually come back to it. Yeah, like you had it with the Survivor and Dead Aim and all that stuff, but like to have it on a mainline game and like throw all these references and nods to Sweet Home and to original ideas that were scrapped. Like they're always doing that with like certain things too. It's like they bank ideas and they use them for later on, so that's cool. But yeah, man, the mansion setting, the whole like whether or not it was supposed to be a Sweet Home remake or if it was its own idea, like there's always like the conflicting like stories about it, but like that at the end of the day like definitely set the course to inspire like companies like Konami to make their own, you know, series with Silent Hill and kind of like spin off this whole survival horror genre with Resident Evil. Like that is like the game that spun that what was just like a marketing term to an actual genre. And you got all these cool things. You know, you get your Fatal Frame, you get your Silent Hill, you get all these like now indie games that are going back and like making new experiences with fixed camera angles. And it's like that's such a art that like, yes, tank controls are, you know, a dated control concept, but it still works within the confines of fixed camera angle. I will die on that hill, but
no, I agree 100%. I agree.
You know, and it's like I think there's always a space for that, especially if you're seeing all these games on like Steam that have, you know, these callbacks to those games. Like Ground Zero is like one that only because it's fresh in my head that I was playing it yesterday. It's like they have the fixed camera angle thing down, and then they added onto it. They have a parry system in there. They have roundhouse kicks. They got like a focus shot thing that like even references Gaiden with like the meter bar to like shoot right in the target to land a critical hit. And it's like everyone keeps continuing to evolve what originally started back in 96. And that's 30 years ago, man.
Dang, 30. Yeah. And you know, and that's what I love about the indie space is that where it's like AAA titles maybe introducing like some type of new mechanic or something like that, or just improving, oh my goodness, or making a completely thing that exists better. I almost still murdered that one badly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Indie studios will go back and grab the OG styles of gameplay and bring them and modernize them. And cause like I was there in the stream when you was playing Ground Zero, and it was cool how they did we both was talking about the one down the hall shot camera angle.
Yo, that was new. I was like, I've never seen that in a fixed camera angle horror game. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Something as tiny as that. Like, bro.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, there's definitely room in the gaming space to, like, go back to tank controls and make them feel different in some way, shape, or form. And as Jen was saying, I feel like survival horror has done so well with Resident Evil because the camera angles were fixed and it made you feel helpless in regard that it is taking away that control from you.
Yep.
Bars.
For real. And like you gotta even think the tech too behind it.
Yeah.
Like, they have all the JPEG moving images because like 3D was just like doing too much for it. So, you know, you made your sacrifices, but like you still made the game tense. Like,
yeah,
that's the whole point of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's scary, yes, but it's more about tension than anything else. And like building that tension. How much ammo am I going to use? Am I going to waste it on this zombie, or am I going to try to move around it and try to get up these stairs? Like,
yeah. And with the fixed camera angle, so like the camera's like here on the here, and you can only see like me in this space. You can't see over here when I'm pointing at behind Joe, depending on
right.
So you can't see over here. You don't know if there's like 20 zombies ready to gnaw your neck off, you know, until like you move over into Joe's space. Then you see Joe in his space, and now you can see like, oh, there is actually literally 20 zombies waiting. So that tension, it created that tension, like Joe and Jen saying, you know, the anticipation of what's going to happen next. I have 3 shots in the chamber, 20 in a pack. Am I going to use all of this? Can I run around? What's going to happen? You know, if I open this door, and also that the door scenes in the OGs, you open the door and it's just like,
dude,
and slides you in. And the one in Resident Evil 2 where you in that one like boiler room area, or I think it was like outside.
Oh, for the valve, right?
Yeah, with the valve. And you open the door and it's like the zombies come in and the music tense up. You're like, oh snap, what in the world?
That is so classic. That freaked me out for a minute. I was like, I died there the very first time. Like, I remember that as clear as day.
Yeah.
So anytime I go in that room, like whenever I play that game, man, I always play back to when I was like 12 trying to do that area. And I was like, like I turned into a little kid again, man. I was like, bro, how many times you play this game and like still this one area? But it's like you said, the music, the music, the moment, the decision making of what you're gonna do, and like how much room you actually have to work with. Like it all comes into play of just like creating fear, you know?
Yeah. The inventory boss, as Jen always says.
Inventory final boss.
Yep, inventory final boss. And
oh, man.
I can never get over, yo, what's up, Gliz? I can never get over the fact that you will get the ammo to a gun before you get the gun.
Bro. Don't even get me started. I was having to be yesterday too with that other game, and I was just like, I'm in here how long? 30 minutes, and I still haven't seen no shotgun. And I got like packs. I got like cigarette packs of shotgun ammo. Like, what's happening here? Let me blast this out. Like, come on.
Yeah,
and then you finally get it, and I'm just like, ah!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The most egregious case I had with that was when I first played Code Veronica. I'm running around with 3 different grenade launcher ammo. No grenade launcher.
No.
I had like the fire, the regular. I think it was like an acid one. I'm like,
no.
I peep your game, Capcom, but I'm gonna eventually need the gun to
Bro, stop teasing me.
Not for real. And then I ended up getting soft locked by one of the tyrants because I was like using all the ammo.
Oh no, the plane?
I think it's the plane where he like walks you down and you like try to shoot him and then you're out of ammo and he's like punch and you can't go back either. Like,
that is the notorious skill checkpoint for that game. Code Veronica is such an unforgiving game.
For real,
especially if like anybody just jumps into that one. Like at that point, you're kind of expected to know how to play Resident Evil, and if like you've gone through, if you haven't gone through the other ones and that's like your first one, that's why I never recommend that or Zero, because like those games are dependent on you knowing how to play the games that came before it.
Yeah,
so it's a little unfair. They're not impossible, they're just hard.
Yeah.
They're a little unforgiving in that regard.
But here's the thing too. before I played Code Veronica, had played 2 and 3 OG. There's no soft locks in there. There's no soft locks in there. I feel like even if I ran out of ammo, I mean, unless there is a soft lock and I was just lucky, and then that Code Veronica was just like, oh, you got too comfortable, bro.
No, they're definitely the lead ups, but like, there's a stark like, hey, you know what? Like, people have played this style of game. Let's amp it up, and like they do not hold your hand.
No, they really don't.
And by the time you get to Code Veronica,
yeah. I got a whole. I don't know why I even got a whole sweater. Okay, now I remember now. Okay, but yeah, that Code Veronica, man, and I found out from Alex that I missed a lot of soft locks, but I found the famous one, of course.
Yeah, no, that is a hard skill checkpoint, man. That's like, oh boy, hold up. I need the scraps of ammo, and if I don't have it, I'm cooked. Yeah. Or I'm gonna have to learn how to use this knife right now expeditiously.
Yeah.
Bro.
CV also played a bit differently from 1 through 3. Yeah, it did. It played a little bit different. Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because like, you know, you talk about like soft locking, but like 3 had like the dodging mechanics, and then because there were 2 different teams working on 3 and Code Veronica at the time, and by the time 3 decided to beat 3, the one that we know now, it's like they didn't have the dodging mechanics built into Code Veronica, so you're going back to like old school, like you're basically going back to playing RE2 by the time you get to Code Veronica.
Yeah.
Like, oh hey, what happens to like being Jill and like being, but it's also like it makes sense from her aspect because she's a trained operative. You're only 2 months out from the events of Raccoon City when you get to Code Veronica, and you're Claire. So it's like, granted, you know, she's like freaking running through, you know, France, I think it was, right? That
I think so.
Like the Paris, freaking umbrella area before she gets caught.
Yeah,
and like guns a blazing, dodging helicopters.
And in fact, hold on, that was Code Veronica. Soft lock your camera.
I don't know what happened there.
I thought I did something.
No, all I heard was the pickle. I was like, Discord shut me off.
Discord's like, podcast over, send him home.
Face verification. What's going on here?
Yeah. But what is Claire exactly? Because I saw a cutscene. I think I was watching your stream. I saw a cutscene where she was like, "Oh," I was like, "Put your hands up," like, "Okay," and then do some type of gun trick where like the gun drops and she dropped down to it and aim, pow, 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 pow. I'm like, okay. Oh well, I keep forgetting. She was trained by Chris.
She learned that in like 2 months. Yeah.
She was trained by Chris. I keep forgetting. Jenna always have to remind me because I keep bringing up like.
I mean, like, bro, what?
Claire is
already learning all these tricks. Come on, man.
Yeah, Chris was just like, okay, Claire. So now that you learned the basics of shooting the blicky, now we got to do the complicated stuff,
man.
Like dropping down and grabbing the gun with perfect aim.
Bro, it's crazy. I mean, she was a college student. Like, I don't get how she like had the time to do that, or Chris had the time to like she was in a whole other city when this was all happening. Like, huh? Like she got a motorcycle and all that stuff, but like still, like, bro, how like her in 2 and her in Code Veronica, she's still looking for Chris at that point. Like she's learning Neo the one Matrix moves and stuff like that. Like what's happening?
Yo, Eddie, I remember you, Eddie.
Eddie,
I remember you, Eddie. What's up? Jagan does got a point, but the trick shots, I need to know. Chris was in the military.
Air Force, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it explains the whole jet thing.
You are an official member of the Neon.
Yo, Eddie, thank you for the follow.
Thanks for the follow.
He made sure she was trained. You know what? Yeah, because Chris already knew, like, I'm going AFK from this girl's life. I want to make sure she survives. So I'm going to teach her how to do all these different things. You know, it's valid. We will allow it.
We'll accept it as canon.
Yeah, right? But,
oh, man.
but how do you think like the previous entries of Resident Evil influence? I think we talked about this already. We can jump into more of it or yap about it again. I'm here for a good time. How do you think the previous entries influenced Requiem? Because like one of the things that I noticed, which was cool, you have the first person and third person options. So they made Requiem where like you can still get the vibes from 7 and 8, or you can change both to third person, which is I play both in third person, and I didn't feel the fear myself, but I was feeling everything that Drace was feeling, and it hits so different. But you can also get the remakes of the third persons. So like, share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I think more than anything, as much as it does take the lore of every single mainline Resident Evil game, it does really spend its time pulling from the remakes of 2, 3, and 4, and 7 and 8 and 9, right? Because like when you're building out that story, they definitely, I mean, they originally started it as like just 2 being the project as a reimagining, and it blew up so big that like, oh, we got something going here. Let's continue it and see how far we can take it. Now we're here remaking the entire thing and like kind of expanding on the lore from the past, carrying it over to the current, the current set of games, and also filling in some holes that like clearly when the games were originally out, released, you're kind of making it up as you go along, right? And like there's gonna be some jank with like how you tell this story, and like there's gonna be plot holes. So it's like they're doing their best to fill these plot holes and like not shift the narrative so much that it causes a really big retcon in it. Like, it's like little things that like I think the deeper part of the lore community is kind of like going a little too hard on, because it's like we're at game number 9 and we're continuing a series that's been going for 30 years now. Cut them some slack. Like they're like, doing their best with what they got. And not to mention like they are remaking the previous ones. So like with 9 being a success, I'm pretty sure when they remake Code Veronica and then eventually 5, that's going to answer some questions that was in 9. Exactly. And I mean, they've already alluded to, like, even with like the promotion work where they've mentioned like Marcus, they mentioned Alfred Ashford, and obviously Oswald Spencer. He's come up now, between from 7 to 8, you've had the, no pun intended, the connection for Brandon Bailey, who was the most minor reference in RE5, presumed to be dead, right? At that point in time, because even Oswald just trying to kill him off too. But is like there's the mention of how basically 8's reference to Spencer was him meeting Mother Miranda, being inspired by him, taking the insignia of the 4 lords and making that the umbrella logo, and then carrying it over to what we have in 9 and what his legacy was remaining of it, so that way we can finally like move forward and get out of Raccoon City for once and for all, carry this series forward into something, whatever they have planned. Like we were talking about it earlier, like there's a lot of different directions they can take it now with like with the way 9 ended. There's a lot of questions, but you had to like kind of like get to this point of just like bringing everybody together to rid Raccoon City once and for all of just like the initial, this is how they were behind the scenes of everything up until this point still, actually. And messing with the black market. But yeah, they definitely have a means to like, they did a really good job pulling 2, 3, and 4 and 7 and 8 to just tell the story there and keep that as the core story. And then kind of like, once these other remakes, because it's bound to happen, these other remakes happen, I think we'll get the full picture of just like, okay, this is now established lore. This is what we're containing everything. And I think they're gonna utilize these remakes to further tell the stories of what they do with the sequels too.
Yeah,
because they have a pattern of just like, okay, we're making 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4 weigh pretty heavy on what was explained in 9 with the T virus and how it was still impacting old school characters in the series.
Right.
But it doesn't go to explain Grace, her being bit, her getting blood in her system in the sewers, and how she still isn't infected at all with anything. So like that's a whole other topic there. And like they're hiding that for a reason, obviously. Like something will have it, like if they wanted to say it was she was injected with Elpis as a baby and like, you know, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's something going on there that like she's an oddity in that alone. So they can do a lot that just off of that platform alone. You know, they can work with that. But yeah, there's definitely a huge there's a lot to work with what's left to be remade.
Yeah, really, it really is. Also, welcome in Alana, Emmy, and Gab. How y'all doing? Thank you for the lurk. Let's see. Jen says, play 7 and 8 where you play as a character that has 0 combat training and is just trying to save his family. It is supposed to bring you back to the helpless. Oh yeah, helpless feel. Whereas playing as Leon, where we all past feeling hopefully. Yeah, my ability to read is like let out, or like lead it out. Yo, Spart, what is up? No, yeah, it does. I haven't played 7 and 8 yet, but I already know the spoilers because I watched so many people play it, and I eventually was like, what is this thing about this mold? Because I needed to know. So I went ahead. But yeah, Ethan do recreate that feel of being helpless, and then the first person perspective, you know, make it feel like it's you versus, you know, Ethan. But since you've played 7 and 8, right?
Yeah, no, I played everything, dog.
You're like, bro, I played the prototypes before it even came out. Like me and Capcom, we tight like that. Would you say, okay, because a lot of people saying that 7 and 8 brought back, you know, revitalized the series of Resident Evil. Would you agree with that, or?
As someone who's lived through the dark times of Capcom, absolutely.
You're like, no, this is no argument. Neon, don't even debate this. Yes, trust me. Trust me.
Like
PTSD.
I mean, experience it there first, like as it was happening. 5 was awesome, but like you can tell they were leaning more into the action and like more QTEs, because like that was the product of its time too. Like for people who may not have played those games or may have not been familiar with Resident Evil as a series, like playing 5 was pretty cool because it was the first like multiplayer mainline one, right? Like they tried it with Outbreak and Outbreak File 2, but like not everybody was online like that in terms of like playing games on a console online. Like you had to get the adapter, you had to get the Ethernet cable and all that stuff, and it's like in my household, like like we got consoles really late. Like we got them on discount. Like I didn't even know games were online until the 360 era, and then found out that was a thing with like the Xbox and stuff like that. Like that's how behind I was on that stuff. I was very late to the game with that joint.
I know how you feel.
I was still playing DDR in the arcades. Like that was my multiplayer right there. But playing 5, being able to play that with my boy, and going through that game, and then 6 came out, and like that's a fun experience with friends. But again, it was like you go through that game, bro, Leon's getting hit by a bus, it's like, guess I'm not going that way, and it's like it's like this high action octane of a game that just happens to have zombies, and everything is happening really fast, and there's no the tension is there one time, and then as you're playing with the other characters,
no tension.
You're like so desensitized by everything that it's like it wasn't that scary playing the first campaign. Then you get to the second campaign, it's like, oh, I see the connections to the cutscenes, and by the time you get to the third campaign, you're like, oh, okay, like I've seen this cutscene several times, but these other ones were pretty neat. And then you get to the DLC, and it's like the game was really about the character that's in the DLC at the end of the day. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that was neat, but now I've seen this 4 times, and I'm like, I'm seeing every cutscene 4 times just from, oh, this character's perspective is here, but it's the same exact cutscene, and now I'm playing this character in this moment, sort of thing. It's like, okay. So by that point, it's like, yeah, that was the highest grossing game because of the back of RE5. But critically and like even the fan base, we were like, bro, like we get trying to bring in new fans, but you just left everybody that like invested into the series as a horror game out in the dust. What's up with that?
Yeah.
So when the Revelations game started to come out, and like it was originally a 3DS game, people were like, wow, this is awesome. Okay, you've found a balance here, but why is this on handheld sort of thing? And I was living because I was like, I got a 3DS. I'm messing around with this. You know, eat it, everybody. Yeah. I'm good. But freaking eventually, you know, they brought that over. Revelations 2 is really solid. It's still harking on like that in between 5 and 6 of like, okay, we're getting it's a lot more action, but like you're still getting the horror good where it needs to be. Yeah. And then 7 finally, like, you know, makes its appearance, and it's like, oh, what's this? This is a little bit Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a little like subtle like RE1 vibes with like, you know, you not having a lot of, you know, having to worry about ammo early on or like for a good chunk of the game. Yeah. And you've got this family, you know, like kind of who you're encountering, limited characters. We're keeping the cast very small. I got dudes chasing me. Like if I have Mr. X or Nemesis after me with Jack Baker, and it's just like, okay, I'm messing with this. And it was very much a reset as much as it was a moving forward, but bringing some familiarity with like what the lore is, right? In terms of like the characters that eventually do get involved in, or character that eventually gets involved, right? Right. So you don't name it 7 right out front, but it is 7. And that I think a lot of people don't realize when they start playing 7 now compared to when it came out. It's like, it's funny because it's like 2 different mindsets. A lot of people are like, you know, man, why is Ethan acting like this? Why isn't Ethan saying that? And it's because originally when that game dropped, Ethan is the player, and it's like you're the one saying, oh crap, like yeah. And Ethan was really meant to be, even though he's a character in the game looking for his wife, you're portrayed as that guy, right? Like that. And then there was complaints about that, like, yes, we all did wish he talked a little bit more and had a little bit more character, but we all understood that Ethan is supposed to be us, the player, right? So when 8 came out, they correct that and kind of make him more involved as a character, him talking, and you know, they list, if there's anything that Capcom does outside of the PlayStation 3 era, I call that the dark days, because man, they made some moves. You just had to be there, right? But and I'm talking out even outside of Resident Evil included, right? But they do listen, and they've continued to listen. They continue to grow, and like they've learned from that, and they built him more out into the story. They loop in Chris a little bit more, and they made him like I feel like for as much crap as they give Ethan still, even in 8, because I know a lot of people that still give him crap, like they did good by him, and they course corrected Ethan and made him a character that by the end of that game I'm like, damn. And especially in that DLC, bro. Yeah,
well, it looks like I'm gonna have to run 7 and 8 and the DLC.
Yeah. He's a good husband. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, let's run it back real quick. Jen said, I played the N64 until I got a PS2. I had to play RE4 on my friend's GameCube because that was the only console it was on, and didn't have a GameCube, so I feel you. Then they released it on everything. No, so I went from I went from Nintendo straight into PS1. So I also understand, like, because we didn't have money. I dabbled with the SNES as well as the Sega Genesis when someone else had it.
Rentals, dog.
If you grow up in a neighborhood, black neighborhoods, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing in the Latino neighborhoods. If you are friends with someone who has that console, the parents of that friend is gonna be watching you and be like, no, limited play, or the cousin or something is gonna like limited play, and you're just like, man, I wish I had my own.
Everyone taking turns, bro.
Yeah.
The borrowing, the trading, and the Blockbuster for me was big in the household. My brother would trade games all the times with his friends, and like we'd always end up with a different game at home for like a little bit. So like we got lucky that way with like being able to play like Turtles in Time and like some of these other games on the SNES. But then Blockbuster came around, and Blockbuster was like, okay, well, we can kind of do this every now and again. So like we would rent games every now and again, and like that's just how it was. That's just how we did. Yeah. With the Super Nintendo and same Genesis. I had the Genesis and my brother had the Super Nintendo, so we were able to like flip and flop here and there.
Yeah. But no, same on my end too, as far as like being late to the party with different consoles. I didn't get a PlayStation. I didn't get any of the future PlayStations after 1 until like way into the console stage. Life cycle, I mean. Because I couldn't afford it. Go ahead.
Same.
Yeah. I think the PlayStation 5 is the only one where it was maybe a year or 2 after it came out.
Yeah, I think I got mine. I held out because I was like, I don't think I need a PS5 right away. And even now, I'm kind of like, damn, did I really need it? But
I need
it. But I got it because Final Fantasy 16 was the one that pushed me to get it. It was that and Silent Hill 2 remake, and then they had announced that they were doing a new Silent Hill, and those were going to be time console exclusive. So I was like, all right, bet. Like, I don't regret that decision, but like sometimes I'm like, did I really need it? But I've enjoyed it. But plus it allows me to just have my PS3 and my PS5 instead, and just backwards compat to 4 off of there, and then have my 3 do the rest.
Yeah. Let's see, Jen says, Ethan doesn't deserve the hate. He was a pretty great character. Alex, like, he deserves more. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like Ethan. I'm not gonna lie, when 7 first came out, you know, I was like, yo, who in the world is this character? Because they hit me with the like Biohazard, like, okay, but back to like what it was named in Japan, you know, Biohazard, not Resident Evil, and it's like Ethan Winters. Who?
Yeah. Because at that point, it was like you had all the characters finally like crisscross, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't go the way they planned. It was like they tried to do too much. And too much. I mean, they clearly learned their lesson from that one, because when 9 came out, everybody was like, no, we want Jill. No, we want Claire. No, wait, what happened to X, Y, and Z? Where's Zeta? And it's like, does anybody remember RE6? You cram too many characters. It's like you're losing the point at that point. It's like they made the right call as far as like picking one previous character to like run it back in Raccoon City. You know, it's like you had to choose. Okay, I go back earlier. I was like, I wish it was an Outbreak character, but like also it absolutely, like, playing this game now absolutely makes sense that it is Leon. Like I've turned over and I'm like, yeah, no. I saw that trailer. He ran the chainsaw on the dude and I said, okay, yeah, you got me, Capcom. You were right. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, when me and Jin, when we did the top 10 things we wanted to see in Resident Evil 9, when we got to the characters, we talked about how like 9 can only have the OG characters if that makes sense. They can't have them just pop in out of nowhere. Like Claire would have like fit in the game at some point in time, but it would have had to make sense. Not just like, oh, I was here in Raccoon City. What you doing in this dead city? What, you just chilling in the corner somewhere, Claire? You know, Ada popping up. It would have to make sense. Chris, all of them. But no, I think they made the right choice with Leon because he has the most emotional weight, especially returning to Raccoon City.
Yeah, like as far as like he really like thinking about that now when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, yeah, he really was the one character that couldn't save anybody. Yeah. And I was like, damn, that weight does hold a lot more when looking back at it now, and it's just like, yeah. And you see everything else, and it's just like, bro, Marvin was there, bit up, dead. Like, he couldn't save Ada at that point. Like, Ada saved her own self. Like, she knew what she was doing from rip. Like, he couldn't save. I mean, depending on how you look at it, story-wise, couldn't save Annette. Like, there's just so many people that died along the way in his route. Claire and Sherry were their own thing. Like, that's their story. Leon's story really is couldn't save nobody.
Yeah.
How does that hold you after all these years of just like everything that you've been through, you know?
Yeah.
So if there's one person that he can save, let it try to be Grace, even if it's gonna be at his own cost, you know?
Right. Can we GG that person? I'm not gonna lie, that straight up make me want to crash. Thank you.
You know, I didn't even. It took me a moment. Oh, that was inventive.
Yeah. Nah, I'm over here like on the verge of crash. I'm listening to you, John. I'm like blood boiling. Like this. Anyway, so. No.
Man.
And it bounces perfectly off of Grace. That's why it made sense to put Leon versus like Chris, because Chris could have been like the antithesis to Grace with how, like, if you played the games and seen the movies, how he's seen things and whatnot, and it could have been like Grace's existence helped change Chris even more. But you know, having Leon, like, I've experienced this, and then Grace, I'm experiencing this the first time, coming together, perfect sense.
Yep.
Chef's kiss for real.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Account created. I had to ban him on my end too. I was like, hold on, let me just make sure.
No, good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, but yeah, they did a really awesome job, really telling that story between the two of them, and from that aspect, and weaving them in between, like, okay, here's why Leon's coming on in, and like, here's where he plays, and it's like they're really following each other's trail. More so Leon into towards Grace, and like Grace is like carving out her own path, trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
But like, the character development with Grace in general, probably one of
F's kiss.
Like, I think if it weren't for Claire, like Jill's great. If it weren't for Claire existing, I think Grace would be my favorite character. She's definitely the best written out of everyone in the series. Like that, I will stand by that. She is an incredibly well-written character.
Yeah.
On top of that, the V8 and the mocap for Grace,
8 down, left nothing on the plate.
Yeah, like if they are not up for awards of some sort, like it is a crime, and if they don't win, it's a crime.
Yeah.
But like they made a lot of those moments feel so raw. It's like it was real. They're very, very, very relatable. Like,
yeah,
Grace is a very relatable character, one of the most. And to like full spin it from like beginning to end, that end, like this is the only ending where I feel like it had the happiest out of all the Resident Evil games, while still having the looming impending, Ish is about to go down, and we don't know what direction they're going to take this series, because there's like a million different directions now that they've opened up to be able to make this work.
Yeah.
But it also had a very like full circle happy ending, giving Alyssa Ashcroft's credit to like exposing all this stuff. Getting Raccoon City to like finally not be, or at least it seems that way. I think that's how I interpreted it. Not have the extension to 2040, because that was like the whole like government issued. Yeah, we're extending it because there's still radiation and all this stuff, or like however they wanted to phrase it, as far as being a closed down as a city to rebuild over, right, and like create a new city. So I think that starts to play in over the next few years, and
and then Leon's arc
there's
too.
A lot of beautiful moments. Yep.
Yeah.
That what's Chris up to, because his Alpha Dog squad showed up. Homeboy from freaking 8 was in there. My man with the million eyes. I was like, oh
yeah,
my boy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there, and I wonder if they try to implement him the way they were trying to bring Jake into the series, or not Jake, Pierce into the series, and then they kind of offed him at the end.
I hope not. In 6, the least character I hate most, didn't care for the most, was Pierce. I'm not gonna lie. Pierce just felt like, man, like I like Jake. Jake was cool. Some extra story in the manga. Oh, he has some extra story in the manga. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, no, Pierce is like one of those characters that like I feel like he was the pass the torch, and then the last minute they decided to not maybe kill Chris. Like, I know that's always been like that's interesting, but also they've done this before where they're like, we don't want to kill main characters, so we're gonna find somebody, and like if you end up liking him, oh well. And we're gonna off him anyway because somebody needs to die here, and that's like what Pierce was there for. And I'm just like, damn, but like what if? So with that dude, the whatever his name is, he has a name and I can't remember it, but like the guy that like shows up and like Leon Kennedy and all that stuff.
Yeah, Red Pill Squad, Alpha Dogs,
yeah, like whatever his name is, I wonder if they start to like slowly like bring him in as like the cutscene support guy for Chris, because I like that role for him.
Yeah. And hold on, there was and also Hunk too. Like Hunk survived this 1v1. What is his? I want to know what his problem is. Like,
bro.
We need some more Hunk.
I wonder if he comes up in the DLC. That's what I'm wondering, because I'm wondering who exactly do you end up playing as in this DLC, because what they're not gonna do is do anything that in terms of like
that's his name.
How they've done the DLC for 7 and 8 so far. If we're going off that trajectory, the stories in the DLCs have always intertwined within like what's happening during and like slightly after. In terms of 7, like they had the one that's Chris goes in and is searching after Lucas, and I believe that is either. I think that's right after the events of 7, but the Joe Baker stuff is happening, I believe, right after Mia separates from sorry, not Mia, Zoe separates right after Ethan and Mia, because Ethan canonically gives the antidote to Mia, and she starts to crystallize after that. So I think that from that point onward is when Joe's doing the stuff, and then Chris is right after all that, and comes back at the same time Joe is coming back, because Chris is there, if I remember correctly, at the end of the 7 DLC doing where they basically make the Baker house the the campsite of everything going on.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
So
disassociate through the spoilers. My bad.
Oh no, sorry. But yeah, that, and then like the way they do 8's DLC is like well after the fact of like so far apart that like by the time we get it, I think that's only going to be like a Resident Evil 11 or 12, so you can start implementing Rose Winters at that point, if you choose to do so.
Right.
Yeah. I can't beat my head. Canada is crazy.
But I can't wait to see those sequels and the remakes and see what they change around.
They got time.
But,
they got another 10 years before before Rose can be a playable character.
Yeah, right. And then Emily takes over.
The thing. Yeah, because I think I do think the RE8 DLC is like 2036. Hold up. Resident Evil.
Would you say RE38? Hold on.
No, Resident Evil 8.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
16 years later. I'm trying to figure out what year it is. I think it's 2037. There we go. 2037 is when the DLC. So it's like we got 11 years.
Yeah. 11 years, several more remakes, a handful more sequels. Then we get to her. Yeah.
We'll be remaking 7 and 8 by that point,
Yep.
Come full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to like, I do think the RE9 DLC will explain the other stuff that's happening within the ARC facility.
Yeah, that's what I hope. And of course, you gotta have mercenaries too. Gotta have mercenaries.
Yes, yeah.
But one last thing here, and I think you did say this already, but we're gonna circle back around to it and yap some more about it. Which Resident Evil game got you into the series?
Oh, 2. 2 was the one. I can I still remember my brother bringing a demo disc. I don't know if it was like a PlayStation Magazine demo disc or if it was just like a demo of RE2 that he had. He's always just like been the one that like introduces me to, like, he's the reason I learned about JRPGs. He's the reason like pretty much I got into games because of him.
Yeah.
But like all these like new like these random like demos that I would be playing is because he would get them somehow, and then I'd be watching him play it, and then like I'd play it eventually. But like there was an RE2 demo disc that we played, and obviously PS1, right?
Yep.
But I wouldn't fully play that game until the N64 version of RE2. And that's how I played it like full on the first time, was the N64, and my stepsister's boyfriend at that time brought it over, and that's how I played it. I was like, because I had the N64 and my stepsister had the PlayStation, but like it's not like we can like play it or whatever, so I would just be playing N64 games, and I kind of like branched off from that point. So that and the GameCube era of Resident Evil games was like how I like was able to really like get deep, and I was the kid that like played the bootleg versions of like console games. Turok 3, I had the Game Boy Color version before I played the N64 version. I played a little bit of Resident Evil Gaiden back then before like I finally got around to like really playing. You want to talk about soft locking? Play Gaiden. Oh my god. God, what else? There's a bunch of other ones I'm like blanking on right now, but I played a lot of like handheld games for the most part before I got to even playing like console versions of games.
Yeah. What got me into the series was also Resident Evil 2, and
hell yeah.
I can't remember what genre of games I came off of, because I was at one point hyperfixating on different genres. Like I had my fighting game kick, so I got like all the fighting games from Nintendo for the NES.
You have like, you don't get you do get the mix now with like indie games and stuff like that, but like they're like the companies that still exist today that were doing things back then were so much more like flexible with like throwing whatever out there, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like we were all playing a little bit of everything, and like genres were still being defined, you know?
Yeah.
Sort of thing, I feel like. So like, yeah, because I was playing platforms, I was playing action games, I was playing Doom. I shouldn't have been. Street Fighter, like.
Yeah, for real. But when I got to the jumped into the PlayStation era, I think one of the first games, because the very first game I got for PlayStation 1 was Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and then I had a demo disc for it, and I played the living daylights out of that. I think the first game I got at a pawn shop was Resident Evil 2. With the disc 1 and the disc 2, and I was lucky that it played, because freaking, like, now I try not to buy used games because they don't work sometimes.
Oh man, yeah. Sometimes it's hit or miss. You gotta find the right. You gotta test them too.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, but you just unlocked a core memory. Oh my goodness, Funko. You experienced Funko Land? But it's like, oh, let me try out the game, put it in the console, see if it works. Yeah, it works. Like, oh man, hold on, yo,
bro. Funko Land, I'll never forget. I walked into a Funko Land for like the first time I walked into a Funko Land. I knew nothing of like these other like Dragon Ball games that existed, and so Dragon Ball GT was like a really hard to find game at that point.
Yeah,
and that, I think that's like my first memory of like seeing a game that was just like wildly overpriced, and they were selling the English version of Dragon Ball GT Final Bout for like $150 or something like that. Like,
right,
it was OD expensive. And I was like, what is this? Why is this so much? Like, I didn't grasp the concept of like, I was like just barely learning that like you can play burned games on a PlayStation if you like put the little you put one CD in the thing, and like you put a paper clip in the little thing, the CD holder that like holds the cover over there, and like you swap the disc swap and stuff and whatnot. Like that was probably like my earliest memories of learning all of that stuff. So yeah, Funko Land. Sorry, not Funko Pop, Funko Land. But yeah, the original GameStop rip-offs.
Yeah. Final Bout is a horrible game, but still better than Fighters. I don't think I've played any of those. I can't remember.
Still better than Fighters. You bugging. I played that trash game. Hold on.
I can't remember what Dragon Ball game it was, but it was side scroller like Street Fighter, and you can make the character fly up or fly down. You have key blasters. Piccolo was a big character.
Yeah, one of those tournament games. They had it on the Switch. They brought it back when you pre-ordered Xenoverse, I want to say.
Oh no, ain't no way.
Came with my copy of that game.
No.
Like Budoden or something like that. The Tournament 22 or some nonsense. It had some long name to it.
Yeah, something like that. But that, oh my goodness, when I played that, I was like, oh man, this is another Dragon Ball Z fighting game. And I picked Piccolo, and he's over there slow as all get out, like, I was like, no, y'all lying. Piccolo don't move that slow. Y'all lying.
Yeah, Super Budoden. That's the one that dropped on, like, when you pre-ordered the game. They brought it for the Switch. It's like an exclusive digital. I randomly have.
Fighters is worse than Final Bout or Ultimate Battle 22. Oh yeah, no, I think that's what it is. Alex told name Ultimate Battle 22. I think that, yeah. I think it's Ultimate Battle 22.
That was a PlayStation one. That was the other one, I believe.
Yeah.
I had like a bunch of other characters too. Yeah.
That, oh my goodness, I was like, so I played that game because I was bored, but my goodness, I'm like, yo, Piccolo is not that slow. Why is the big characters moving slow? You know, the Super Saiyan looked weird.
Bro. Oh, everybody licking each other in chat.
Yeah, right? No. All right, carry on. But
might as well join in. There we go.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna make a liquor emote. One of these days. But final question.
My God.
Final question before I let you go, because look, we already know you. It's funny because you had said a time like, man, I only got like this, and we started yapping. People like, you know what? F this time.
Bro. Oh my God.
But no,
time flies, man.
Look, time flies now. Final thing here. Gideon, I have to say it, not enough people is talking about Gideon as a character. Mans who voice act Gideon put in work with the performance, the lines, you know, nothing but an imitation. Like that line lives rent free in my head. The way he delivers that.
Freaking, my favorite line still is the one that they showed in the trailer, and then like finally hearing it in context of like the conversation that he's having.
Yeah.
It's so out of line because he's talking like several different accents in that scene where you're about to solve the puzzle with the acid thing, and he's in there.
Yeah.
And he's like, my master created you. And then he goes into like this like other random voice, and then he goes, I liberated you. And I'm like, bro, he had like several different takes going on there. What was going on in the booth? But the shit just like cracks me up because it's the one line I kept saying for the rest of the game. Like every time I died, it was like, I liberated you. Bro, oh my God. Oh man, like that killed me, dude. That freaking killed me.
Yeah.
The line of the game.
Yeah, shout out to Gideon, man. Yeah.
Gideon put in work there. Gideon put in work.
Stellar performance right there.
Oh my God, bro.
But with that being said, yo, we come to the end of the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me, dog.
Why are you slurping on it, though, dog? Why are you slurping on the end of the podcast? But no, thank you for being on here. I don't know what my hands are doing. I'm directing traffic. Thank you, bro. Oh. Yeah, right? We'll start voguing and stuff. Yeah. But no, thank you for being here, bro. I could not wait for this. I was randomly past DMs like, he gonna eventually answer me back. No. But
I'm sorry it took so long. It was meant for this. It was meant for the Resident Evil, dude.
No,
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it really was. It was meant for Resident Evil. It was meant till after I played Resident Evil 2, so I could really like connect to, because we talked a lot about the remake Resident Evil 2, because all my stuff I was pulling from the OG 2, and it was funny because when I got to the part where he had that flashback at Kendo's gun shop, I was like, yeah, he having the flashback. It's not the canon flashback I know, but yeah, I can feel the pain. But then when I played it to that point,
babe.
Yeah, right. But then when I played up to that point in 2 remake, I'm like, oh man, that hits even harder now. Like, oh
yeah,
dang, Leon.
That full circle, man, that was crazy. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And going into Raccoon City, I was not I didn't even know what to expect, but I was not expecting that.
Yeah, nah, for real. But yo, before we go, you gonna raid out with us? If so, do you have a raid recommendation? I'm gonna let the guests of this podcast choose the raid recommendations.
If you want, Blue just went live. Like
you know
literally just went live like 16 minutes ago.
Bad. Let's send I'm gonna say let's send Blue over too. We're gonna make Blue raid. We're gonna send a love over here too. Okay, here we go. No, mute that. Oh, just in case. There's music playing.
Music.
Oh, hold on. Let me act like I'm not new to multi-streaming. Oh my goodness, I broke the camera. Did I break the camera? I broke the camera. Hold on, one sec.
I was gonna say, I was like, I'm still on Discord. I saw me go out.
Everyone on YouTube
Trying to take me out, chat. That's it.
Yeah,
I might not live.
GG's.
I got Blickied out. I got Xeno'd.
He knows too much. But
Head chopped off.
Yeah, right. Yo, everyone on YouTube side, this is Joe After Work. Where and when can we find you, bro?
You can find me everywhere at Joe After Work. I'm easy to find, J-O After Work. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Those are probably like my main ones that I use. If you really want to dig in deeper, joeafterwork.com has everything. And I'm usually on weeknights, 7:30ish until about 1 a.m. Trying to be good about sticking to that. However, I'm sometimes degenerate and do 2 a.m., 3 a.m. But again, I play a lot of retro, Nintendo JRPGs, survival horror stuff. There's been the indie resurgence on the channel for sure as well. So I've been knocking back a few of those as well, especially with like the survival horror side of things. I've been kind of like going through a lot of like the RE clones of the indie side of things. So you might be seeing a lot more of that. And I've got a retro series called Remake or Break, where we play old games and then we see how many of those and how long it takes to see some of those get ports or remasters. So we're dwindling down to the last bit of that list. I got like 8 to 10 games left. Some of them are really long JRPGs, so we'll see what happens there. But we've had a few on that list that made it through. Most recently, Maximum Carnage. I played that game 2 years ago, and it popped up in a collection that Limited Run did for all the like old Marvel games.
Yeah.
For like the arcade ones and like the Avengers joints. And I said, there's no way that this game actually made it as a port. So that's just my luck. I play old games and we see them happen. So there you go. Be my curse. Good.
Yes, I will put all of the socials in the description below. Yeah, with that being said, on YouTube, have a good night. Sweet dreams, come on Halcyon days. And we live by the motto, live, love, Halcyon days. We vibe. Let's get into the mix of 2026. I need to think of a way